Hello and welcome. This is my depth year update. I'm pretty sure it's going to be rambly. I may have to pause. I'm one take grace. I don't exactly edit my videos. They go up raw, just exactly the way they happened, the way I recorded them. But if I find that I'm rambling too much, I will pause and then restart. So, here we are. It's the end of August. And I'm not going to explain at this point what depth year is because, the hashtag is at the bottom, is tagged onto my video. And if you're watching this, if you're watching me, you probably already know what depth year is. And if you don't know what depth year is, Google it. Everybody's talking, well, everyone who's interested in it is talking about it, and people have been posting their depth year updates, video or blog entries or whatever medium that they use to update on their experience. Heavy breathing in the background, in case the mic picks it up, is my dog. She's having a little snooze, a little mid-morning snooze. So, depth year. So I have 4 points here, and I'm going to try to stay on track. There's what I intended, so what I set out to do with depth year, what really happened, what happened that I did not expect, and how it's changed me so far. So I started out depth year with my notes, like a lot of people, with the very basics. It was to go deeper, not wide. Go deeper into my interests. Stop accumulating stuff. Basically, it was, stop the consumerism, the mindless buying of things and all that stuff, which for the first few months was a little challenging for me. And it wasn't so much the mindless buying of stuff. I guess at that point I needed something, so there had to be some purchases. And, some of the things on my list here was a no-buy. I had already begun a no-buy for those of you who are into cosmetics and body care and all that stuff. I'd already started my cosmetics, makeup, all that stuff, no-buy. No-buy, replace only kind of thing. Because I have way too much. With stores at the mall that it's buy 3 get 2 free and all this stuff, you end up accumulating a lot of stuff that you're never going to use, and let's be honest, beauty products are consumables, and they do go bad. They do go off. They go bad. They expire. And I'm not going to do a whole spiel about what kind of products expire, what don't, because this is not what this video is about. This video is about the whole depth year experience. So on my list here, it started with my no-buy. My no-buy started December 1st of 2018, and that was no-buy for all personal care and all that kind of stuff, except for what I needed to replace. So of course, if I ran out of antiperspirant, I bought antiperspirant. But I'm not going to run out of a makeup palette, because those things last forever. They're designed to last long enough for you to become bored of them and you buy a new one. But anyway, that's a conversation for some other channel, not mine. Here we go. Or maybe on this channel, but a different video. So I started my no-buy, and that was a little rocky because, well, still had some things that I wanted to get. There were things that I was using that I didn't really enjoy and I didn't want to use anymore, and I wanted to replace them with other things. So I did that. I gave myself space to do that. And that is like, I chucked a whole bunch of old makeup and stuff that had been that expired. I chucked a whole bunch of not chucked, but I ended up donating clothing, accessories, things that I had that I just didn't use. And so the decluttering for me has been an ongoing process. I was Marie Kondoing before Marie Kondo became a thing, and I continue to live my life that way. If something does not have a purpose, if I don't enjoy something anymore, if it doesn't spark joy, as she says, out it goes. And I thank it for its service, and then I pass it on to, whatever society is collecting, or whatever thrift store, et cetera, charity. So that started out okay. Okay, I kept a spreadsheet. I've been keeping a spreadsheet of my expenditures, although I've lapsed a little bit in maintaining it because my expenditures became further and further in between. Like, more time passed between one expenditure to the next that I would sometimes forget. And again, when it's a replace only kind of thing, if I'm just picking up antiperspirant, or if I'm just picking up toothpaste, that stuff doesn't really count under this category. So I didn't really keep track. I had put a no buy on witchcraft supplies and decor, and the witchy kind of decor and supplies, because one, practicing for as long as I have tons of incense, and candles are cheap. So, but I don't really need to buy any more tchotchkes, you know what I mean? So I had put a stop to that. Just consumables that I need for my craft. I had placed on myself to explore my own wardrobe and not just purchase clothing randomly. And that went well. Well, it really went well because I don't really enjoy shopping for clothes. It's not my, it's not, I don't enjoy shopping. I enjoy researching something, finding where I could get the best deal on it, and then potentially, whenever possible, ordering online. So but anyway. So, so depth here, go deeper into my interests. So I have quite a bit of craft supplies, yarn, fabric, stationery. So I had imposed upon myself for depth year not buying any more supplies unless they are specifically to finish a project, because the project otherwise would be unfinished without it. And that's if I really couldn't improvise with what I already had. Excellent. I'm doing quite well with that. Tarot and Oracle decks. That was rocky for me because at the start of the year I realized that I, one, did not really have a cohesive, curated selection. So there was a lot of, at the end of 2018, before the start of 2019, there was a lot of accumulating and then trading off, or you know what I mean. Like a lot of decks came in and out of my life. More Oracle decks than anything else. They came in and out of they came in, they went out. It was like there was a lot of activity last year, the latter quarter of last quarter of 2018. There was a lot of activity with that kind of stuff. So come 2019, I looked at my selection and thought, okay, what I want to do is dive deeper and curate it. So I went with all my interests and curated. So going back to makeup, I curated my makeup collection. I curated my selection of makeup that I use. I curated all that kind of stuff. Body care, accessories, shoes, clothing. And then I did the same with tarot and oracle decks. And that was a little rockier because tarot, oracle decks, and books, it's, I'm watching videos, I'm seeing these things, I want to say, oh, I want to see them for myself, or I want to, oh, I bet I'd love that, and that's, that's really going to round out my selection or my curated situation here. No. A lot of stuff came in, even more stuff went out. That surprised me. The other thing with like tarot and oracle decks, it turned out that some things came in and stayed. A lot of things came in and went, and they were either traded or when it was possible, returned, sold, what have you. And when I say a lot, I mean like for me, right? So that's subjective. I just felt at a certain point that, oh no, this is just too much stuff, it's got to go. So I stopped. I think sometime in March or February, I stopped, and there was no more coming in. So that's not bad, because see, I didn't want to be too hard on myself, because if I was too hard on myself, I wasn't gonna get through this process. And this process is, I would learn, or I will be sharing with you that I learned, is a lot more. There's so much more to this process than just not buying stuff. All right, so here we go. So the point was to go deeper, back to going deeper into my interests, deeper into reading the books I already own, deeper into using tarot and oracle decks that I already had, go deeper into my interests of crocheting, and go deeper into crafting, go deeper into, just my interest, cooking. And I wrote a journal entry and about this whole depth year and what my goals were. And they were like really wide, like really vague, but this is where I need to share something with you that's going to cross over into, we are constantly manifesting our lives. We are constantly creating our reality with our words and our thoughts. And this is not New Age mumbo jumbo. This is, or New Age woo or whatever. This is what it is, because when we're the voice in our minds, and and we are reciting our narrative, or we're talking, we're speaking aloud about our hopes and aspirations and all this stuff. I got so swept up into the depth year, dive deeper in my interests, dive deeper within myself. I hadn't even said it. Dive deeper within, dive deeper into my profession. Okay, now I need to preface this by saying I have been in the same profession since I was 17 years old. Look at me. I am far, far, far away from when I started that profession. To be perfectly candid about it, I've been in the same profession for almost 35 years. I don't know what possessed me to say dive deeper into my profession when I'm at a place in my life where I'm actually quite ready to step away from my profession and start out on a new adventure. This is why. This right here, this is a cautionary tale. Be careful what you say. We create our reality every moment of every day with what we say and what we think. Especially what we say. Words are magic, my friends. All right, so that's what I intended. That's the first point of depth here. This is going to take a little while. So I intended to dive deeper into my interests. It was all very superficial. Like when I think back, my goals with depth year were very superficial. No buys, and use what I have, and all that stuff, right? Decrease, move away from consumerism, which, yeah, these are all great goals, and to be honest, at this moment, I have achieved them. I am no longer shopping to soothe myself, to self-soothe. I'm no longer accumulating like, buying a whole bunch of books and all this stuff without reading what I already have. I'm actually, have like little stack here of books I'm going to be working through. I'm, so far I'm accomplishing that and what I intended. But here's what really happened. At the start of the year, for whatever reason, because I said this, well, not for whatever reason. Let's be, let's look at it realistically. I set this in motion when I said I want to dive deeper into my profession. I've had some occupational issues all year long. All year long I've had issues pertaining to my occupation, to my profession. And right now, as I sit before you, on August 29th, 2019, doing my depth year update, I am so deep in my profession right now, I can't breathe. And I put myself there. I cannot blame anything or anyone. I put myself there. I am so deep, so deeply immersed in my profession right now, I can't breathe. And it's not what I ultimately want, but I'm going to accept it as where I need to be right now until I could figure out the magic words to work my way out of it. So there's one thing that really happened with depth year. Another thing that happened with depth year, from my original goals, is that I lost interest in a lot of things. Well, lost interest in makeup, which is bizarre for me because I've always loved makeup as an art form, as a creative expression, and I lost interest in it. And I think it's like I even I stopped watching makeup videos on YouTube or any kind of that kind of content. And I just lost interest in it. I lost interest in researching it. I lost interest in buying it. I lost interest in going into, let's say, a place like Sephora and swatching it. I just lost interest in it. Now it's just become a utilitarian thing. It's just part of my personal care. But I've lost interest in and it's part of my personal care. It's part of my creative expression. I still enjoy it to express myself creatively when I'm in the mood. But thankfully, I've lost interest in whatever else is out there. I am content with what I have. Also, what really happened with depth year is I don't. Already. Okay, let me backtrack. Already, I'm a bargain hunter. I try to get the best bang for buck and all this stuff. But I've really gone away, moved quite away from retail altogether. If the first place I look now is thrift, and I was already a thrifty person. I already loved my thrift shopping. It's something that was ingrained in me since I was very young by someone who I love dearly and I miss even more. But it's gotten to the point where, if I really need it, okay, I'll have to buy it. So right now we're using a 70-year-old toaster because our toaster oven died. And we had a vintage, toaster from when my husband was growing up in the house, and that's what we're using. Now, the old me before depth year would have already replaced the toaster oven with one that looked just like it, because not to disrupt routines and habits. Instead, we're using this really old toaster, just like a two-slice toaster that the spring is shot, and you have to make sure to keep an eye on it or it burns your toast. Yeah. So that's something that that's happened to me as a result of depth year. It's my priorities have shifted. The things that are, I don't know, I'm still working on it. I'm still working on figuring it out. That's something that happened that I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting that depth year was going to affect whether or not I replace a toaster right away. You know? I don't recognize. There's parts of me I don't recognize since I began depth year. And it's exciting to get to know yourself anew, right? But at the same time, it's disconcerting. It's like all this external noise was actually detracting from myself and my inner life. And how much external noise there must have been for me to sit here before you and say, yeah, I don't really recognize myself sometimes. Another thing that happened with depth year that I wasn't expecting when I began was that I'm making YouTube videos. So I'm going deeper. I went deeper. And then I found myself I found myself supremely drawn to expressing myself in this medium, which is very external. But here I am sharing with you my experience so far with depth year. I thought I was going, at the beginning of depth year, I thought I was going to set up, I was going to start bullet journaling, and, you know, I got myself a really nice book, and I was going to set up every month and do the bullet journaling. And let me tell you that didn't go anywhere. So I'm going to share with you what mine looks like, because I joke about the fact that mine is not pretty. The outside is pretty. It's very pretty. But as creative as I am, I was just not feeling it. For me, it felt like work setting up a bullet journal for every month. And I really respect people who do that every month or several months in advance by season, and they show this stuff on their YouTube channel, and it's so creative and so beautiful and so aesthetically pleasing. But I can tell that they take joy in it. And for me, it was I just wasn't feeling it. So I started mine. I made a pocket out of it was a brand new file folder where I keep my original depth year plans that I wrote out at the end of December of last year. This is a card that I pulled from my vintage oracle. For my word of the year, turned out to be reflection and how. At first I thought reflection. What? Yeah, and how. Then on the next page, like I told you, mine is not pretty, but I thought I'd share it with you just in case you're out there and you're watching this and you're like me and you're feeling like, oh, I'd love to have a bullet journal, but mine looks like I'm in first grade. So does mine. This is my card of the year. This bastard. And how. It has been one Hierophant moment after another since the year began. Some moments I'm this guy, some moments I'm these guys, but it's been nonstop. And then this was my reading the year ahead, where I pulled a card for each month, and each month I write notes on how this energy manifested itself in my life, or how how I experienced the energy of that card in my life that month. And it's been on target every single month. The only thing that, and it's been okay. I'm just really worried about November, the Ten of Swords, because at the rate that things are going right now this year, there's a few things I can imagine are going to happen that month, and all of them give me extreme anxiety already. But it is what it is. Whether I pulled the card or not, I would be living this reality right now, and I would know that something's coming. Something, an ending is coming down the pike, or maybe more than one ending. So there we have it. So that was my, and then in case you want, so here you go. This is what my stuff looks like. This is what my book looks like. And I'm sharing this with you. Look, books I've read. I need to fill in a little bit here because I've read a couple more books, but I haven't read as many books as I was hoping to, just because my attention span's not there. And then this is my my tarot and oracle decks, and what I worked with, what I didn't, and so it's all over the place. I haven't really maintained that either. Let me see. What else can I show you? So I started with my INFJ and the Queen of Cups and writing that stuff about it. In case you're not familiar with it, the Myers-Briggs, the personality test, the 16 personalities do match up to the core cards in the tarot, and you can just Google that and you can find the list, and it's quite eye-opening. Let me see. This was in January, remember, no buy and all this stuff, and I found these images and blew them up and put them in my book as a visual wish list, because I wanted the Crow Tarot. Not quite sure I still do. Again, depth year has changed me in terms of what I want. 30 Days with Mary. I did 30 Days with Mary with Etienne from the French Madonna. Oh my gosh. And that was an Instagram thing. Those of you watching may be familiar with. Well, here are my entries, because you know what? Again, just didn't have the energy, and so what I'm trying, and I have to tell you, don't be looking at my book if you want to be inspired. There are people out there who have beautiful journals. This is just me trying to show you that sometimes you barely have the energy to do the work. And if you're feeling bogged down in, I can't write anything down in my journal because it's not going to be pretty, it's not going to be perfect. I used to be that person. I have blank journals and I would never open them up and use them because I was afraid I was going to ruin them with entries that look like this. And I hope I didn't shake the whole situation here. So, yeah. And sometimes all you could do is, cover up your bad handwriting with pretty pictures. I have terrible handwriting. I try, but I do. And that's my journal. And another result of depth year is I consolidated a whole bunch of stuff. This is an old leather binder. That was my husband gave it to me before we were married. He had moved on to a larger one, and he said, "Do you want it?" And I said, "Yeah, it's leather. It's nice." So in it I have all my bits and bobs. Instead of keeping them in a shoebox, cards from decks. These are all printed. Oh, these are the extra cards that came with my centennial commemorative Rider Waite. These are just photocopies of cards that I love from decks. You see the Druidcraft at the top. And then on the bottom it was just 2 cards that I really liked. I got them on the internet. The 2 cards I really liked from the Psychic Tarot Oracle. The blue box. I don't have that one because I didn't like any of the other cards. So, yeah, this is from my cards from the Herbiary book, where I trimmed them so that they would fit this old business card holder. So yeah, this is my binder where I keep all here's my chakra charts that I've had forever, and you know what I mean? So it was a way to consolidate my things all in one place so that I could see them. And so basically it's a binder full of my interests. And then that have to do with tarot and metaphysical subjects. My journal. I also have a binder where I keep all my patterns of things I've crocheted and whatever. So, I don't know. Depth year has been interesting, to say the least. And it's been very educational and informative for me. The most interesting thing about this whole depth year thing I wasn't expecting was that I'm not looking forward to it ending. I'm not experiencing depth year thinking, oh, I can't wait till 2020 to go wide. No, I'm in here in the deep for as long as I need to be. And that was quite a revelation. I'm enjoying this place, as challenging as it is, and it has been and continues to be very challenging. Like I said, I don't recognize myself. I don't know how much of my inner workings I was medicating and stifling with external distractions. All I could say is that now that I can hear myself and feel myself inside my skin and experience my world on a deeper level and with a different perspective, I think I want to stay here for a bit. Yeah. So that was my depth year update, a little more than halfway along, 8 months in. And I hope it wasn't too rambly, and I hope it was interesting to you. I did pull 2 cards from the decks that I'm using that I've been using in August for daily draws, and I pulled a card from each deck to basically describe what depth year has been for me. The first card I picked was from Tarot of the She, and it's Dancer Queen, which is the Queen of Cups. And the other card I pulled was from my Earth Magic Oracle by Stephen D. Farmer, and it was Tree, grounding. Yeah, this is exactly what I've been experiencing. Diving deep into emotions, and then needing to find grounding. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a beautiful day. And if you're living a depth year yourself, I feel you. Thank you, and take care.